Hey guys, it's Lex Roche
and Courtney Noir,
and you are listening to another episode of The Pleasure's All Yours.
We are a podcast all about the sexual liberation of the Black and queer communities.
We really wanted to create a space for us to talk, laugh, kiki, and really emphasize how the pleasure is.
It's all yours. Oh my gosh. What a beautiful combo that you never knew you needed.
The cookie and the marshmallow.
And that is the first thing on my stomach today.
Wow. Well, what the fuck is up, guys?
Hey, girl.
As I don't know if Courtney's gonna edit that part out, but I made cookies yesterday and I brought her some.
They were delicious.
Amazing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We are here with another episode of The Pleasure's All Yours. And if this is your first time listening to us, we do like to start every episode off with a nice little pleasure moment. So we're just going to dive right in today. And a pleasure moment is just something nice and pleasurable, whether sexual or not, that happened to you, that just really elevated your week, that made your week worth living. So, Courtney, you look so cute staring out the window. So, contemplating is the possibility. Yes, girl.
That's definitely what the weather is giving
it
all
is
weekend.
giving Bella sitting in her room for months, depressed.
I was, doing what I usually do, trying to scrounge up a pleasure moment because after 3 years, I still forget how this show works. But I think, we have 2 weeks now in between, so we have a lot to pull from. Mm-hmm. I would actually say my pleasure moment was doing trivia with my mother and my friend and my aunt. Oh my God, we won first place. Mm-hmm. Had lots of great cocktails. It's this hotel like not far from my apartment, and so we walked there and oh my God, it was just so much fun. Everybody loved my mom's energy because she was drunk,
and obviously she's a Libra, so she's very much like the light, and everyone else is the moth.
Truly, and she looked super cute. But her and Caitlin, our friend, was they were really vibing out together, equally tipsy.
I love that.
It was just a good time. They kept bringing us free appetizers and stuff off menu that we were requesting. My mom and my aunt, they're so bougie. They were we're really just craving fries. You guys don't have any fries on the menu because it's a Mediterranean restaurant. Yeah. And so they were no, we don't have any fries.
Going to a Mediterranean restaurant asking for fries.
I know. I was girl, please. She was yeah, do you have any a dipping assortment or whatever? Mm-hmm. But they were no, but we have this off menu item that is specifically for Southwest pilots because they have a contract with Southwest.
Interesting.
And so pilots can order, they stay there while they're waiting for their next flight or whatever, and they have a specific menu to order off of, and they have fries on that menu.
So they brought my mom fries in the freezer, but
they brought my mom some fries from that menu.
Okay.
Anyway, my point is
she's a Southwest pilot now.
Yeah, basically. So catch her there. Although Southwest, I don't know about y'all no more now that you're charging for the bags. That's so crazy. Boo. Potato.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
It's really hard for me because my time perception is awful. So
okay.
I know it's 2 weeks in between. And I'm pretty sure that there has been, I've had multiple pleasure moments over the past 2 weeks. But the first one that came to my mind whenever I was on my way here and I was thinking about it was, it's not something I've talked about much on the podcast, but Red and I have been in conflict. And I think my pleasure moment was us finally getting to ground of understanding to the point where we've hung out a few times now and we haven't had any conflict at all. It's just been us kind of reconnecting, which has been really nice. And we just watched a Nigerian movie the other night and I made dinner and it was and we had a snuggle on the couch. It was just very nice, very chill. So, I like when things start feeling like they're back to normal.
Yes, some sense of normalcy.
Some sense of normalcy because it was causing me a lot of stress and strife.
Yeah.
So, I definitely think conflict coming to a conclusion with a close friend.
Absolutely, because arguing with a friend is actually worse than arguing with your partner because you're damn bitch, what? And then the fact that you guys are kind of both of those things, is definitely. Well, I'm glad that it's going better.
And me too. I'm hoping that it stays that way. It's looking like it though. I did have a fun fact. However, I did not do the research for the fun
I
fact.
love that. That's so typical for us.
And what happened is I was scrolling, and people love like saying outlandish facts,
Right.
and like they say it with such sureness,
Confidence
that most people are like,
of course it's true.
Yes. So I didn't do my research on it, but I will say that I saw a post that was like, everyone's always talking about straps don't belong in lesbian sex. Straps have been around since before. It was like the first mechanical something, and I was like,
the first mechanical wheel. I saw.
Yes.
I was like, are we sure?
Yes. So I was like, I need to go fucking look that up, but
it wouldn't surprise me though.
Honestly, oh wait, because we did that episode on ancient sex toys.
Yes, we did.
And they had like 800 from 1800 BC.
Yeah, they definitely had like stone, like jade dildos and like stuff of that sort. So
you know what?
It's definitely possible. I don't know. The problem is I don't know when the wheel was invented for me to even have like a reference point for that.
I have Google right here. When was?
Hold, please.
The wheel was invented in the Mesopotamian era around 3500 BCE.
Okay. Well.
Okay, when was the strap-on? Okay, early 1960s. Oh, wait.
That's like the harness probably in the strap.
Okay,
like,
hold on.
Not so much a dildo, which could be used like that.
Oh my God, yeah. It says early 1860s. Ventriloquist Ted Marche's close friend. Why are you a ventriloquist, first of all?
First of all, that's creepy.
That is crazy. Anyway, close friend approached him about a problem he was having. He was suffering from impotence and wanted to use his puppet-making skills to fashion a prosthetic penis for him.
Okay.
And as any good friend would, Ted agreed and gets work on doing the first strap-on dildo.
Wow.
So, I guess we're here to tell you that it's fake news. Oh my God, wait, but look, Reddit, look, listen, I'll do some more research, guys. This is not what's on the menu today.
Okay.
This is not what's on the menu today, but I'm very interested now.
They've been around for a long time.
Maybe we'll just do an episode on things that are younger than the strap-on. Anyway, so our pleasure principle today is just gonna kind of be talking about like not like loneliness, but why kind of we're not connecting as much as we usually do, or as we have in the past as human beings. So yeah, that's what our pleasure principle is going to be today, and I want to start by saying, like a quarter of adults globally, 1 in 4 adults, feel loneliness and like despair and fear over being alone their whole life. Which I mean, I feel like is a fear for most people.
That's a natural. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I think as humans, we're supposed to have people anyway, and as much as we want to be like, I don't need anybody, it's like literally not in our nature.
Yeah.
To be alone. We're not wolves.
Yeah.
We're people. Anyway, so there are a few reasons why people are feeling like more isolated and not connected, which is kind of crazy because we have social media, TikTok, things like that are supposed to connect us. But what I think and what I've like noticed in the research I was doing is like social media has kind of done the opposite of that, where it's kind of like it's kind of like ostracized you more, because
you can connect with people like without the natural like humanness of like physical connection. Like I feel like we're running away from intimacy now, and we're just trying to like. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I also think that it's just the comparison of self to like what other people have going on. I think like you see that people have this going on and people have this going on, and you don't have those things going for yourself, even though you guys might be the same age, you live in the same area. Some of these people might even be people you went to school with and you like have known them growing up. So I think that is a way that we like ostracize ourselves in moments like that. Like social media, I feel like compared to when I would, like I go look back at my archived Instagram posts from like when I was in high school and stuff, Bitch, I was just posting anything.
You could just take a picture of a Diet Coke can and be like, best Friday ever. 80 likes.
Boom, immediately. But now I feel like people are so, even with people that you personally know in your life, I feel like we're so focused on like things looking good and being digestible and being aesthetically pleasing instead of just like being a person and living your life. But there were some studies that showed that the social decline started even before COVID, but because COVID happened and we're working from home and we're obviously not being able to be
We were
outside.
discouraged from connecting.
Yes, even more so. And I also think that that is probably around the time that the social media shift like really solidified, because now you're just seeing people learning all these new skills, doing all these things during. So you start to feel like, oh fuck, I'm not doing anything with myself. Like, you know, I'm not as impressive. Like all of the, you know, just little thoughts like that. And because we have such a hard time connecting with each other and we do feel like we're in our own little group, we create like a subgroup for ourselves. Community is a lot smaller. People aren't really like, obviously get married if you want to, don't get married if you don't want to, but you know, people aren't having as many kids, they're not getting married.
The economy.
That too. And they're also just not, people don't have like those long lasting friendships.
Yeah. I think there's a lot that has to do a lot with people's fear of commitment in general, though, because again, like that, I think that relates to social media, always feeling like there's something better around the corner, not wanting to feel tied down, not wanting to feel like you're like you don't have any more options.
Yeah.
That, like, I don't know why that is a fear for us now, that there's just always something better that we could have. So we don't want to settle.
I
We
think
don't want to get married.
I think it's because you scroll and you can like, for example, there's this fucking dance trend on TikTok right now where they're like, talk about pop music. They do this fucking thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. Something about the rat race. The niggas listening know what I'm talking about. But anyways, it's a dance challenge on TikTok right now.
Okay.
And so with the dance challenges, a bunch of people will do them. And you'll see one and you're like, oh my God, this is the most fucking amazing thing ever. But then like 4 videos down your timeline, it's like, oh fuck, no, this one is the better one.
Yeah.
So I think that like that being something is probably subconsciously.
And then you also see how other people can live their lives. I think a great example of this is like fucking queer, specifically like women loving women TikTok is like very over, like for me at least, it's very oversaturated right now in my TL. And I keep thinking like, okay, if I were a 15-year-old girl and like I was curious, or like I was just, I don't know, I had a crush on a boy and he hurt my feelings, and so like you go through breakup TikTok and then you see like a queer girl TikTok and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so interesting, and you start scrolling and you see more and more and more and more and more and more and more of that. Like, I just kind of get why more people are gay, more people are trying to be poly, more people are just wanting to experiment, because you see how all these other people are living their lives and how they might be happier than you because they're this way. So like, I don't know. Do you understand what I'm like? The social experiment of it all? Because like, even as a queer person, I'm like, whoa, maybe I need this. Maybe I need this. And I'm like, do I need it? Or am I just seeing it a lot? And I'm like, oh, this is better than what I'm experiencing right now.
I think for me, when I see it, it's not even like, oh, I could be happier. I think it's more so for like, and you know, obviously everybody has their own experience, but I think for me, it's more so like, this is a new look that I couldn't conceptualize on my own. Like, I would not have come to the conclusion. Like, for someone who grows up in a house that is mostly straight people,
right?
Like, just at their assigned gender, cisgendered, everything like that. And then you get on a social media and you're like, oh, wait, hold on. That's not what I have to do.
Like, that's not the only way.
So I feel like I describe it as like when Dorothy gets to Munchkinland and everything's in Technicolor. It's kind of like that for some things. Like you couldn't even conceptualize the topic. You see things on it and you're like, wow, maybe I'll give that a try.
Yeah, for sure.
Just to learn something new about yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
I also think with the shrinking of like social circles and having fewer children and things like that, just like we were talking about queer people, there just are a lot more people not even coming to the realization that they are gay, but I think it is just, I feel like subconsciously people aren't limiting themselves to who they're attracted to.
Yeah. I guess maybe I can use a different example because that is such a nuanced topic of like why people would choose to be gay.
Yeah.
But like, for instance, right now I'm in between hairstyles.
Yeah.
So I keep seeing all these like natural girlies doing like twists and like even like whether they're dark skin, light skin, 4C, 4B, 3C, whatever, you know, I'm seeing all that stuff. And I'm looking at my hair like a lot now and I'm just like, what is wrong with my hair? Like, I don't have that hair. Why don't I have that hair? Because I keep seeing the same type of girls on my fucking TL. And so like, I feel like I can't be natural in the same way that they can be natural.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just like more susceptible to those things because I'm like, my TL is very specific. Like I get like 4 different types of videos and that's it on TikTok. So like maybe I'm just oversaturating myself, but I wonder how like younger people are dealing with social media in that aspect. Observing it, absorbing it. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because like I have, as a 28-year-old woman, I have like weird thoughts about myself when I'm like looking at all these different people that have something I don't, or like something I could do better. So now I'm like looking up all these products and I'm like, what do I need? What do I need? But then I went to the hair salon and I went, like my mom braided my hair the other day. And both those people were like, oh, your hair is like really, you have really good hair. Your hair is really soft. Your hair is really like, it's growing. And I'm like, yo, I had a fit when I was taking out my braids because I felt like I cut off half my hair, which I did. I actually cut off so much of my hair, bitch, because I didn't think my hair was as long as it was. Dysmorphia. And so like I cut so much of my hair taking out my braids, girl. Anyway, that's like not even the point.
Yeah.
But I have been like just trying to unlearn, like just because somebody else has something doesn't mean I should have had it, or like I'm doing something wrong, or like my life could be better if I look like that. But it's just easy to fall into those traps. And I think like you said, like that can be ostracizing for some people. It makes you not want to go out with your natural hair. It makes you I don't know, like
I will say, and you know, I was talking to one of our friends and the guy that they're seeing, they were hanging out with him and listening to what he was scrolling through on TikTok. And it was just like a lot of discourse between like men and women. And they pointed out, they were like, aren't you tired of like the divide and contributing to media that supports the divide of genders? And he was like, oh, I just listen to it. Like, you know, it's not a big deal. And they were like, well, you know, even if you don't realize it, like that can cause you anxiety, like all these other things. And they said to me, they were like, I learned this from you is like if something's stressing me out on my phone, I'm just not looking at it. And what I suggest that people do when they're scrolling on their FYP and you're noticing the same kind of certain kind of video that's kind of like really pissing you off, hit that I'm not interested in this. And they will just stop showing it to you. Don't like
the problem is I'm interested because I want to know more about this hair shit. It's just like, damn.
But but the thing is like I think you have to curate it. Like last night when I was talking about I've been trying to curate my Instagram timeline for fashion girlies who are also plus size.
Yeah.
To kind of like make me see my body differently, as well as like how I could dress my body differently instead of being like, oh, this skinny bitch looks like, you know. So I think maybe putting not interested in the ones that don't make you feel like, okay,
affirmed.
I can, yes. If it's not making you feel affirmed, just don't like. If you watch it for more than 30 seconds, that's how it's staying on your FYP. Yes. I'd be scrolling, bitch. I'd be like, up, nope, boom. Yeah. Up, nope, boom. I pay my phone bill. You're not about to stress me out. I stress my own self out.
For sure. Yeah. I definitely scroll when I don't want to see something. It's just, I just notice trends.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hate sometimes the algorithm just is working against you.
Yeah, for sure.
So I really felt that. But I think something that is important to remember is that like there are alternative ways to have community. And while politics and social media and all these other outside sources are telling you that it's us against them, it's this one against that one, like whatever, really and truly the only way I see it right now is that it's the government against the people.
Oh, truly.
That's really the only thing that matters to me currently right now. And I feel like the only way that I can help my community is by trying to be a positive helping person rather than like just
feeding into the chaos.
Yeah. So even like my man hating, even I've been keeping that to I've been keeping it to a minimum or into my circle.
Period.
Talking shit about niggas. So, you know, because I've just really been thinking about it. I'm like, I totally get it. I understand I hate them.
Yeah, but they're also victims of capitalism.
Yes, I know. And they're also going through it. The same thing with like, I don't know, I don't want to say white people.
That's a little bit different.
I was like, I don't want to say I'm doing the same thing with white people because it's still the same for white people.
It's kind of up and stuck, but
yeah,
I can recognize that even white people are
pawns.
That's a great word because I was going to use the O word, which is not the word I'm looking for.
No. I definitely think that they are pawns, and I think that the government uses them as such. Because especially them Hicktown hillbilly Sandy the squirrel ass niggas.
Baby.
Like, except Sandy was a scientist, so let me not do her like that.
She was from Texas.
She was from dumb old Texas, girl. But yeah, I definitely think that it is. But I want to let you know, Courtney, I was out with the beautiful lady I'm seeing, and we were walking out of the bar to the car, and this white lady was walking, and I just didn't move. I just kept walking.
That gives me so much anxiety. Because if it were 1947, bitch, you would have ended up like, what's her fucking name? From The Color Purple?
Well, good thing that it is 2025. And
it's just so crazy. Did you shoulder check her?
I didn't, but
okay.
It was pretty close.
It's just that one time that we were together.
We like...
You brushed... Okay, even that is fine. It's just that one time I almost died. Lex, it was like I don't know, she was probably in her like maybe late 40s, like early 50s. But Lex like walked right by her and she didn't move and she said, wham! Like her whole shoulder just went bam.
I don't even remember
like,
this. That's the crazy part.
That is why I get so nervous whenever you do, because I'm like, I know that you are serious, bitch, which you should be.
Because like, it makes me, it just reminds me of that thing where it's like, there's so many things that are ingrained to us genetically, like, i.e., why do black people laugh and then disperse? Why do y'all laughing and dispersing?
Girl, I think that's like hush puppies. Like, not everything is true when we're saying everything. Like, I do believe everything ends up relating back to slavery in some way, but like, hey, I don't think that.
I'm just saying it makes a lot of sense to me. And there, you know, if there's a scientist out here that wants to study such a thing, do me a favor and run the numbers, girl.
Run the numbers, girl.
Run the numbers, girl. But it's one of those things where it's like, nah, because it was a thing that we had to cross and we had to move out of their way. Mm-hmm. And I just see it as, you know, not even as a black person, but logically.
Yeah.
If I'm already walking on the fucking sidewalk, Meredith, and you come out of a building and I'm already walking on that side of the sidewalk, why the fuck would you expect me to move and you just got here? Yeah. Bitch, I was already walking. My path already predetermined.
Yeah, predetermined, bitch. So, I'm on ways.
So I feel like you deserve to get shoulder checks. Get the fuck out of the way.
Period. What I do like to do is walk in front of people like that are going in the door. Like if there's a white person coming out, trying to get out of the door and I'm walking in, I will purposefully go in before them. Because, hey. Yeah. That's my contribution.
Yeah, sometimes I don't say thank you to the, like, if you're a white man and you just kind of look like you voted for Trump, I'm not saying thank you if you held the door open. Yeah, so many things.
It's the small things.
It's the small things. I also think that the dating apps, I don't count those as social media, but I think that that is also an outlet that kind of keeps us lonely because you see these profiles, you might match with these people. Do those conversations go anywhere most of the time?
It's just oversaturating
and so then you're finding it harder and harder to connect with these people, which can be discouraging when you're actually trying to connect with people outside of social media because it's like, oh fuck, I tried to talk to this girl or I tried to talk to this person like this about this and they ghosted me. So I think that also. And just like seeing all the pictures, you know, but I think that remembering that people curate social media to be digestible and to be entertaining and for you to be impressed with whatever they have going on. So I personally think it's good to take people off of their pedestal as like
for sure,
for socials and stuff like that, because it's like, this is only what they're showing
the
you.
highlight reel.
Yeah, it's just the highlight reel. Like when you finish Mario Kart and it shows you like the best parts for the winner.
But it didn't show you all the times you got hit with the tortoise.
Exactly. It only shows you all the times that you fucked it up in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But despite social media being like something that is supposed to bring us together, I feel like its main thing is that it separates us more than anything. So sad.
I'm watching Love on the Spectrum. Well, I finished it in one day.
God, so amazing. I've only been seeing clips of it, but please continue.
Yes, I am an avid watcher. And this girl, she's like obsessed with the train, like the metro train in Boston. It's called the T. Mm-hmm. And like, so she created an Instagram group where like people interested in like the T in like an autistic way, of course. Cause like, you know, you're like really interested in trains. Mm-hmm. Can like meet up and go on T Ventures together. And so like, she has this like group that she created. She found people that were willing to just ride the train and like talk about the train for hours, you know. And I like, so there are ways that it's, you know, social media can be beneficial and bring people together. I think it's just when you're intentional about what you want from using the apps, you know.
And I think, you know, while we talk about Facebook all the time, but Facebook got so many Facebook groups for like anything, like the most niche things you could find a Facebook group for.
My mom is part of like a specific like north, wherever we live, area Golden Doodle page. Like just for people within like a certain distance from her that have golden doodles.
I love that. She's like, I want to be around the parents.
Yes.
I want to be around parents that are like me.
You can find it, and it is probably on Facebook. You are not lying about that.
Yeah. It probably is, honestly, because Twitter don't have groups. And TikTok just has different sides of TikTok that, and when you search them, you mostly get white people. So,
yeah. Even when you type in black girl, you get Latinas. Mm-hmm.
Bitch, I said ebony. So that brings me into celibacy and how even on my timeline, I have been seeing a lot more people being like, oh, you know, I'm celibate. But I did just see a few people who are abstinent just in general. And they're like 28. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, my God. Yeah. Cannot conceptualize that for myself. Like, that's insane. But like celibacy, I feel my question when I was doing this, the research for this is, are people using celibacy as more of like an empowerment thing, like how you've been using it to like get in touch with yourself and like focus on yourself and things like that? Or are they using it kind of as an excuse because finding people and connecting with people is so hard? Yeah. So it's like, because it's so hard, are you just opting out because it's hard, or are you not? Yeah, like
what are your actual what are your true intentions, man? What are the reasons that you decided to go on this journey?
Yeah, and especially for women, it is really like, it is framed as an act of empowerment for women to like withhold their bodies from people.
Yeah, and you know, like maybe I was telling one of my friends this yesterday, like I have been only celibate. Well, I had been celibate for 2 months, not a very long time. And I really was doing it to try to just like get my own energy back. I felt like I was losing a lot of energy, like leaking energy in places, you know? And I just wanted to like call it back and like be with myself for a little bit. And I think I did that in some ways. But like at the same time, knowing who I am.
You're a sexual person.
Like I am a sexual person. And I think a lot of my empowerment comes from that. And so that I just need to be more, I need to have better discernment about when I'm feeling like I want to be sexual because I want to call on my power, or whether I want to be sexual because I feel like I'm missing power. Does that make sense? Like, I just need to be better about
like sex because you want to, not because you want to feel something.
Yes, like I don't want to. I'm not filling a void. I'm like doing it to like because my cup is overflowing and I want to share it. Yeah. So I am no longer celibate, but I'm trying not to feel bad about it. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying not to make it feel like I failed myself, because I didn't. I think I've just realized that that journey is not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, about sex being empowering, like, it just makes me think about a conversation I did have with Red like a while ago. And we were talking about people who are over sexual and things like that, and even like sex workers and stuff. And I definitely know that the podcast and me going just randomly deciding to walk through sex stores just to see like
what's
new,
new,
what's new, what's trending, what's going on. That is a way for me to stay as connected to my sexual self as I felt like I was whenever I was working in a sex shop.
Yes, yeah.
Because me tuning in to my sexuality and what I like sexually and just sex in general, especially the podcast, just really showed me like, bitch, that's where you get your charm from.
Yes.
I walk in this world pussy first, clitoris first.
Period.
You ever see me walk? Come on now. And that's what it like clicked for me. I'm like, because I'm so sure of that part of myself, and that is also like my escape, how I feel, how I come back to myself is really good sex.
Yeah.
And just doting on myself in that way and having someone do the same. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
Cause I haven't like had sex and felt bad about having it in a really long time. So I really don't like, I really hope you continue to be easier on yourself about your.
Oh, I mean,
I don't mean you. I'm not saying you felt bad. About
like
yourself.
I never feel bad about myself for having sex.
No, that's not.
I guess I was just like, I had a goal to like be celibate until this certain thing happened.
Yeah.
Like, and I just that mindset. I'm trying to work around that mindset. You know what I mean?
But in that way, that's what I'm saying. Be gentle with yourself.
For sure.
Yeah, because I understand. Like, oh, I stuck to this thing. I said I was gonna do this thing, and then it kind of went a different way. But
yes,
you had a realization about yourself.
I did have a realization,
which I feel like is an exception.
It is,
and technically, it's been like 82 degrees and sunny outside.
Bitch, this pussy has been like wanting to pop, but she will be.
Yeah.
She's from now on. She's back to popping. So if you wanted to pop, hit me up. I'm back. I'm back here for the streets. Everybody,
sir, do you want a pussy pop?
You and you.
I love that. I love that. So I know that there was, and I know we talked about like a billboard that Bumble did about being celibate or something. They did an ad that was very controversial, but in that same thing, there was in this article I was reading, Julia Fox also was a person who was advocating for celibacy as a way to take back control over political upheavals Roe versus Wade. And movements like that, classic. I also can understand, because if we want to, I mean, obviously, pussy runs the world. And if a man don't have pussy, that nigga gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
I just know it. So I think like, in that way that she was talking about it, like, oh, just don't be giving up your. That makes sense. As
a activism.
Yeah. This is my protest. I'm holding my pussy to myself. Yes. But either way, the whole point of this is celibacy. Like, if you're choosing to be celibate, just make sure you're doing it because you want to do it and not because
you feel like because niggas ain't shit.
Yeah. Like if you want to fuck, go fuck, girl. And just how these niggas be out here fucking anybody, anywhere, doing anything, you be the nigga in your story.
Truly.
Be the nigga to your own story. You go fuck bitches.
But you know...
you go fucking lie in a bitch bed and then be texting another bitch, you know?
Sometimes people aren't built for that.
And that's okay too.
That is okay too. You know, that is a tough place to be in, where you want to be a hoe, but your heart is not a hoe material.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe.
Good luck to you.
Good luck to you, Charlie. Honestly. I hope you can find good dick who can treat you like a real person and, you know, set healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
And still get dick, bitch. Like, I really want that for you.
Yes.
Courtney, that was so beautiful. You just look so beautiful. Yes. Amazing. Okay, so a way that we can kind of combat our loneliness feel and that isolated, ostracized feeling is take small steps to foster offline connections. So, for instance, one of my besties, D, she has been having issues with one of her friends and just kind of realizing that, like, oh, maybe this friend isn't as, this friend doesn't hold me as highly as I hold them.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's just noticing all these weird behaviors and stuff. And I was saying, like, you know, well, if you want to repair that relationship, I think you should talk to her because you guys have known each other for a long time, blah, blah, blah. But she was saying how there is a friend that has been consistently showing up for her, but she's not, like, super close with that person.
Yeah.
So she was like, I don't know, I feel like I've talked to this friend about this a bunch of times, and they're also, like, a non-black person. And so she's like, I just kind of feel like I'm at that point where, like, I want to surround myself with people of color, you know, things like that. And so she has a friend, that the friend that she notices, like, oh, she's showing up for me in ways that I'm asking my closest friends in the city to show up for me, and they can't, but she is.
Yeah.
And she's a black woman.
Yeah.
So my friend is just kind of like, I think I'm actually just going to shift my focus to this person who is obviously trying to show up for me and be a nice friend and a good friend to me. So I think, like, doing things like that and, like, maybe go out, take not even just by yourself, but, like, even when you're with your friends and you guys go out, like, talking to strangers.
Take a lap. That is so underrated. The last time I went out, that was, like, one of my first times actually making a few laps. Okay, it was fruitful
Because people will stop and be like, oh my God, I love your shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
like
God.
even like it doesn't have to be from a romantic, you know, like we're trying to get somebody to think you're hot. Like it's more just like, just giving yourself the room and opportunity to meet new people.
Yeah, and, like, you know, you're at the bar, you're ordering a drink, the person standing next to you, what'd you order?
Yes.
You know, just, like, little things like that. I think I have been reminding myself that there was definitely a time, like, we've been alive in a time where social media wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So I've been reminding myself of those things, like, whenever it comes to talking to people offline or anything like that. Bitch, we used to have to AOL niggas, like.
Instant messenger.
Also, I think that you have to be willing to show up for people. And sometimes that means showing up when you don't want to. That I think I could actually go on a rant for so long about this, but like I think that we are all too much, not all, and you know, obviously if this ain't you, I don't mean you and the we. Because I don't mean me, but I feel like we so much just want people to give us everything, and you don't really want to give that back because it's too hard. It's easier to tell someone how to love you than to adjust how you love and then meet someone where they are.
Absolutely.
And so it's always, I don't owe you anything and nobody owes me anything and I can take care of my own things because that's my responsibility. Like, yes, that is your responsibility, but I always just think it's important to remember that if it takes a village to raise a child, why would all of a sudden it not take a village to maintain what you built your whole life? Like, that never has made sense to me. So embrace your community, put yourself out there and show up. Like, that's really what it is, because you can't feel connected to someone who's never showing up, who you never like see, spend quality time with, even just talking on FaceTime, like even just connecting with the person that is supposed to be within your community in whatever capacity that is. You have to show up. That's the whole point of community, is letting people know that you are there. You texting me and saying, I'm here if you need anything, but like I don't ever see you and we don't ever hang out and it's not like we text or anything. How am I supposed to know that you are there if I need anything when the facts don't line up to prove that point?
Right.
So show the fuck up, bitch. And another thing, which I feel like we've done really well with creating the podcast, is just creating inclusive spaces for people that are like you, that think like you, that even are curious on how you got there, and maybe they want a little piece of knowledge that you have. But just creating those inclusive spaces for any person willing, that wants to learn, that already knows and just wants to connect. Just being open and intentional about the spaces that you make, so that way you can make like really authentic bonds with people that have the same morals and values as you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And obviously social media reinvention, I think, would be really nice. And obviously it's going to take a collective change, like as a whole. I don't think just a few people saying this is going to work. But I think just changing how we view and hold social media in our lives and how we absorb other people's lives in comparison to our own definitely needs to happen. And I think that reinvention of social media would be crazy. Like if Instagram could go back to being like
heavy filters, bring back those heavy Vienna filters. Give me a black and white photo and one sepia all on the same post. Perfect.
Yes, and like a random saturated meme that has been reposted so many times that you can barely tell what's actually in the meme anymore. Like, stuff like that. Bring back Vine.
Bring back Vine. 20 seconds of gold. You have 20 seconds to entertain me.
And that's it. That's why Quinn Blackwell, bitch, will forever be iconic because she was on Vine holding that fucking app up. Bitch, her and them two light-skinned niggas.
Destin Conrad?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know what them niggas are, but they got into a fight and they weren't friends for a while and they just became besties again.
No.
One of them is tall. They both. Okay, if I showed you pictures, you know who the fuck I was talking about. But I feel like those people specifically and the kids too. Miss Keisha. Oh my fucking God, she fucking dead.
She fucking dead.
and that's so millennial.
No.
Yes, Sharkeisha. Yes. When I say stuff like this, I'm like, this is so millennial of me. Like, I know that it is for me to be like, bring back the oldies. Like, I totally get it.
But we were having fun. I think things were just fun back then. Like,
and I think that's why I call upon it, where I'm like, bring this back. Because it used to be so whimsical and fun to be on Instagram. Because why the fuck are you posting a picture of you edited in a picture with Justin Bieber?
And that was like normal.
So we were like, oh, yes, girl. I love this for you.
When did you meet Justin?
Oh my God, I love Justin Bieber. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Bring it fucking back, bitch. But I think it's like my key point here as well is when it comes to making community, it is about quality, not quantity.
Absolutely.
You just need like a good handful, 2 or 3, at least 2, of like people that you can rely on.
And that you're willing to show up
for. Yes. Yeah. It's a Uno reverse, okay?
It definitely is.
We're all going in a circle. If I need it, I can give, I'm going to give.
Yeah.
If it's vice versa, perfect. But yeah, basically, to wrap it all up, social media is lying to you. You are not by yourself. Look at how many TikToks you see that you're like, oh, I've never had an original experience before in my life.
Literally never.
And it's like 3.1 million people like the same video, or they are like relating to it in some way. Remember that. Yeah. It's not just you, baby. Also, celibacy, use it as a way to connect to yourself, as a form of empowerment and not as like an obligation.
It's a tool, not a weapon.
Yes, exactly. I mean, yes.
What?
I was gonna be like, unless we're talking about doing it for the patriarchy, then
it's still a tool.
That, you know what?
It's still a tool.
You're right. Mm-hmm. But I want to remind everyone listening that you are not in your own little corner, in your own little chair. You can be what you want to be, but you're not by yourself. So
damn, bitch.
You saw how
that's kind of a word, because you fill in the blanks, ho. Yeah, you could be what you want to be.
Shout out to Brandy and Whitney, because that is what I was talking about. Yes. And I hope that just elevated it even more.
That was smooth.
Thank you so much. It felt like a word, but I was quoting a song.
You know what we should bring back? This is just a little side note real quick.
Okay.
Do you know those I don't know if your parents or like your grandparents probably ever participated in them, but they're like money circles where like your neighborhood, like every few, like you pay into stuff and then every month they choose a different person to receive all the money.
No.
It's really cool. It's like you have like maybe 8 people in your circle, and like every 2 weeks you guys put in $20 to the bucket, and at the end of January, Shirley gets the bucket of $700 that everybody contributed, and then the next month Beverly gets the bucket of $700. You know, like
nah, my mom was stingy and selfish. She was not participating in no shit like that.
And bring back community.
She'd be like, I'll go, but I ain't putting no money in. She want the free stuff,
Period.
but she don't want to contribute.
Yeah, and that is the point of the money circle. Is at the end of the day, you know that like your turn is coming. You just have to trust your community to keep pouring in, because they'll receive it and then you'll receive it.
You know what? This is reminding me. Also, a quick side note, because we're always talking about community and like, I'm a neighborly person. The last time I lived by myself, me and like 4 of my neighbors had really good relationships. We would like bring each other food.
Yeah.
We text each other, hey, I'm going
meet each
down
other
to
at
the
the pool.
We just be hanging out. Hey, I'm having wine. Do you want to come meet me in the game room? Like, you want to sit with me by the fire while I finish this wine? Stuff like that. Bitch, I was making a chocolate cake for our friend's birthday. I needed a quarter of a teaspoon of salt because I had just ran out of salt a couple days prior. I knocked on like 4 different doors in my same hallway, 3 of which I could literally hear them inside their apartment.
Wow.
No one answered the door, not a single person, which I think is insane because you can see me standing outside and I was just in a t-shirt, like nothing crazy was going on, and not a single person.
You look like such a friendly face. Like what could you possibly be there
I'm like, I was trying to stand there unmenacingly as well. I was standing far back from the thing so you could see the measuring cups in my hand because I had them in my hand. I'm like, hey,
you did everything right.
I'm like, y'all got Ring cameras from up above. Like, you can see me, you know? It's just things like that. Like, damn. And I'm over here like, I wish I knew my neighbors. I did actually get new neighbors, and they were like, oh, hey, neighbor.
Okay, that's good. That's a good sign.
So, yeah. But I'm like, I made 2 dozen cookies. I'm not eating all these cookies. I need someone to take them. And my friends are only going to eat so many.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And yeah, I guess that's really, I don't have any questions for the girls. Well, I guess maybe, do you experience loneliness in terms of what we were talking about here?
I think I feel loneliness in terms of like my macro community sometimes. Cause like, it's just, even though I feel like I contribute to my micro community, like my friends and family and like adjacents, like the scattering people around that. Mm-hmm. Like when it comes to like big communities, I'm still just kind of like, I don't know how to like navigate those spaces. So I would say like maybe in that frame of reference, yes. And it's something I'm still at almost fucking 30 years old working on, because I recognize the importance of your macro communities as well, because that's how you boost other areas of your life.
It's also how you get like
opportunities,
mass change as well. Like when you can get your whole community on something, things like that, opening food pantries, things like that.
Yeah.
Like doing that with your community, like having a big macro community, I'm sure helps with stuff like that too.
Yeah. And like, that's definitely like the holistic version of that. I was also like speaking more from like a social perspective, like not like a social change, but just like how am I going to get opportunities to do things professionally? Like how, like self-serving things, not just like wide range community I'm glad that you brought that in there. But yeah, that I think is a big issue, because I like to volunteer. I like to do things. My mom does a lot of stuff in her community, so I like to go with her and do those things. And I feel like that's how I can contribute to that. But like as far as just having more opportunities for myself, I think I could be better at like going and doing things that interest me in like a bigger group of people.
It makes me think back in like 2019 when people were having like random kickbacks. They were just having random ones, and they would just be playing music. They'd have lights, they'd order food, or maybe they just had drinks or just nothing in general. And they would just drop a link.
And you just show up.
And you just show up, and it would just be sometimes people playing music. Sometimes it's just people dancing.
And I'm sure that those things still happen.
Yeah.
I'm just not plugged in anymore, because I definitely went through a section of life where I was like, I don't want to go to those things. And so, after a while of not being part of your community, your community's not a part of you, baby.
I just think that I experienced too many weirdos in the part of the community that was doing things like that. And after being essayed from a person of that community, I just am so turned off by even going to something that seems so innocent, or something that's hosted by someone who is a good person, quote unquote, because obviously you niggas are wolves in sheep clothing.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Yeah. I think that I experience more feeling ostracized, like contributing to my own feeling of being ostracized rather than like feeling lonely. I think and it's something that I have continued to work on. And maybe it's that Aquarius in me. I don't fucking know, but I have like such this thing that, not that it's just me, but that like, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. It's more so just like, oh, I am a niche person, and like these are very niche things. Like, you know, obviously I like that people are like, oh, you give me a different way of looking at love and loving people, and I love that. I think I just haven't met a person who does the same, just automatically. That's just how their brain works. And so I think that in that way, it brings like a loneliness, because it's like that you feel like you're always teaching people.
You want somebody to just meet you on your level already.
Yeah. And it's like, I love being that person for people, like just solidifying like, oh, love can be just love. Like, that's it. Like a bitch don't need anything underneath. But I think it's like being the teacher and like the channel for that to come through can feel lonely sometimes, because I just, you know, I want the same thing that I'm like teaching like the people around me. Like, it would just be nice to have another person around that maybe I could learn things from, or, you know, things like that. So I think in ways like that, that is how I feel.
Yeah, that's valid. Absolutely.
Yeah. But that's all I got for you guys today.
Okay. Well, if this is the first time you are listening to The Pleasure's All Yours, follow us on Instagram at allyourpleasures_.
Yes.
Like and subscribe to our YouTube, and keep up with us. We drop every other Wednesday.
Yes.
And if you're listening to this on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, bitch, we love you. Bye.
Bye.